Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. Seriously, it's like Gaston serenading himself. He's such a fucking narcissistic asshole. He's singing all about himself. And that's what I'm singing about right now, me. Because it's my birthday. And it's been a lot of time leading up to the big 4-0. Like 40 years is a lot of time to be on this earth, I've realized. It's a fucking 40 is a long time to be here. Like I say, like my 40th birthday is Tuesday, January the 24th. And lordy, lordy, I'm going to be 40. And I'm excited. I'm actually really excited. Obviously, I did not go Sinead Candler on your ass and shave it all off. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with my hair yet. I have no idea. I dyed my hair. I put some leave-in conditioner in it. I did that. But I had a friend, actually. She shaved her head. And she actually looks stunning. Like, she looks so good. Like, with like a total like buzz cut. She looked amazing. And now her hair is like growing back, like, and it's long again. It grew back really fast and everything like that. But she's just got one of those faces where she just like, she just can. I don't think that I have one of those faces. So I elected not to shave my head. So we're going to figure out what's going on with the Bangarang season. We'll see what's going on with that. Speaking. I think that, you know, of all the kids, a bald head would not look good on this kid. And speaking of kids, I will say welcome to a very special birthday edition of 21st Century Rocker Mom Podcast. This is 40 is the episode with me, your aging host, the Crypt Keeper. The Crypt Keeper's here. I'm just kidding. I'm not the Crypt Keeper. I'm just kidding. It's really Tanya. It's really me. Breathe it in. I know it's a lot. The hair, the bod. When you're staring at a demigod. What can I say except you're welcome? No, just kidding. That's just being totally obnoxious. And that's what the show and what this podcast on this episode is all about. 40 years of this. Oh my God, can you believe it? What was it like when I was this, like small, like I say, like, so welcome. And I guess we'll start from the very beginning. It's a very fine place to start. I was born obviously here, like in London, Ontario, exactly where I live. At the place where everybody had babies at the baby hospital. That was St. Joseph's Hospital at the time. I was born on January 24th, 1983. I have a lot of birthday twins. It's funny because I have a lot of people that I know that were born at the same time, at the same day that I was, like at the same hospital. January, and the same year and everything too. I have a lot of birthday twins. It's funny. And we're all kind of odd people. I'll put it that way. We're all kind of out there a little bit. We're all a little bit away from the crowd. But like I say, I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital on a very snowy day, and I guess all of our parents were all getting lucky on the same day prior to our births. Baby boom. I'm the firstborn female in my family. That's a lot of F's, holy F. But I am. I'm the firstborn female in my family, and I have the birth announcement still. Like, my mom and my dad, like, kept the birth announcement that they had from me. Like, Paul and Maria Candler are thrilled to announce the arrival of their baby girl. And I still have it with, like, the attending obstetrician and nurse and everything like that. Because that's when they used to, like, call out who was the doctor and who was the nurse in the birth announcement. And they still do that sometimes today, but sometimes they don't because people, I think, maybe prefer anonymity. But then in the 80s, like, that doesn't exist, really. I'm sure it did, but it didn't with me. So, but this automatically made me, like, obviously, like, firstborn, and then this made me automatically a big sister. 3 years later, when my little sister was inevitably born, she came along 3 years later. We had a pretty normal childhood. We had quite an unplugged childhood, I would say. Like, as far as things were concerned, we weren't inside a lot. We were majorly outside kids. We're always doing something outside. I spent a lot of time fishing or like doing things like that, or whittling wood or something, or canoeing or things like that with my dad or my uncle. We spent a lot of time diddling around, like catching minnows with nets and, catching frogs and doing things outside. Like, I really had a lot of time to spend outside. And like my mom would take us to the cottage with my Oma and stuff like that. My sister and I would spend time outside till the lights went off. We'd even play hide and seek in the dark, like outside. As long as there weren't coyotes coming around. My mom would like light a fire outside the bonfire, make sure everything was cool. Make sure no coyotes came and bothered us. My dad would buzz up on weekends afterwards and hang out with us, and like whatever was awesome. Like going out to the cottage, we were really unplugged kids. We watched TV like at night and everything, but it was like you could get on the rabbit ears. And then obviously I had a fort at the cottage, and it wasn't a fort. It was like a club. It was called The Legend of the Bear. And if you've heard this podcast before, and even if you haven't, you're going to hear about it again. Because it was the legend of the bear. It was his home down there. And we had a song, oh my God, to this place that we used to go to when I was a kid called The Legend of the Bear. And it was just like this hidden place at the cottage where it was way, 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 way back in the back of someone's cornfield. And there was like a big ravine that went down. And you could go there, and there was a big aqueduct pipe, but it was huge. You could walk through it. And it had a little bit of like water trickling through it, and had some little lakes and like little rivers and little tiny little things and mini lakes that we used to like sail our boats on and do stuff. And I hung out with a group of just boys out there because there was no girls. So I was the tomboy, like majorly of the group. I was like the Beverly of the group in Stephen King's It. So I used to hang out with all these boys, and that's how I became like kind of the way that I am. I'm always kind of like one of the guys. That's just me. That's just how I am. I have my handful, like I say, of my close girlfriends, but I have always been one of the dudes. I'm just a dude's dude. I've always hung with a lot of guys. I've always swung with a lot of guys. That's just the way it's always been. That's just the girl that I am. Maybe it's how I was raised. I don't know. But down the Legend of the Bear, me and my guy friends found this waterfall, and it was just majestic, and it was amazing. It was going down this clay, and you could see it looked like all the rocks were a different color, and everything looked rainbow and everything. Like, this is wild, We thought it was great. Going down the Legend of the Bear, going to the waterfall, and then we find out that this waterfall, it's piss. It's piss. It's runoff from the farmer's field that's trickling down. Thank fuck none of us went for a swim in that shit. Because my mom was like, don't you dare touch that water. I'm like, why? She's like, it's runoff. I'm like, what's runoff? And then she told me it was like basically like the stuff that's like the byproduct of fertilizers, like pee and poo, basically, coming off the farmer's field in water, being flushed down into this beautiful, like what we thought was like this magical ass waterfall. Like, shows the difference between like reality and fiction. Like when you're a kid and you think something is what it isn't, right? So funny. So we at Legend of the Bear, we thought that the waterfall was the most magical place. Turns out it was the pissiest place in the world. Like I'm saying, like, oh my God, I'm just going to Legend of the Bear was fun. Or like we play a lot of board games. We had a Ouija board, which I was not into playing, but I was really into playing chess. My son is now into super like playing chess big time, or playing cards, or playing marbles. I love playing marbles and scrambles. Playing cards, like things like euchre or crazy eights or go fish, anything, like even like playing poker was fun. Like anything is fun with cards. We played backgammon, which is still a head scratcher for me, but like definitely chess and checkers, Monopoly. Board games are kind of where it was at on a rainy night. We kind of had no interest in like screens and watching TVs. And like I say, we didn't have iPads and cell phones and shit to stare at then. I get caught up in that stuff probably more than I should these days, but I am trying to detox myself slowly. That's one thing I'm trying to do this being 40, and not slowing down, but changing things a little bit. Trying to detach myself from things so much technologically. Yeah, I have my Instagram posts and everything like that. Maybe I'll schedule those things and get them to go whenever, so I'm not doing it constantly, organically, always me. I'm always there, right? Because it's 24/7, right? It's a lot on me, it's a lot on my kids, it's a lot on my family. So it's all about keeping your peace, and it's about keeping your family's peace, and whatever the hell you have to do that is you, right? When we were plugged in as kids, I will tell you, this is funny. When the only thing that we really plugged in is my dad owned a movie store, and we loved movies, like, because of it. We loved the posters, and we loved the cardboard cutouts of, Humphrey Bogart, and then we had like Tootsie. We had like, Dustin Hoffman in our family room as Tootsie, all decked out in drag, you know what I mean? So like, to me, like, drag culture was a pretty early on thing that I learned. We had Tootsie in our fucking, like literally in our family room. There's Tootsie. Dustin Hoffman, full out drag. I was like, okay, cool. I like drag queens. Learned from a very young age. Very easy to learn. It was good. So inclusivity in my household was a big thing. And then my dad owned this movie store, like I say. So we're always like watching a movie if it was a rainy day. And then one day my dad got us a Super Nintendo. I was really sick and I was home from school. I got this like major bug and it was like a doozer. And I was really sick, and so was my sister. We were really sick and we were super contagious, so we couldn't go to school. So my dad bought us the Super Nintendo and brought it home. Oh my God. I was fucking crazy with that thing. I wanted to throw the controller at the TV and go fucking ape shit every time I played Dungeons and Dragons. Well, it was Super Dungeons and Dragons, I suppose. It's whatever you call it, but I call it Super Dungeons and Dragons. And it was the funnest fucking game. I loved playing it. I loved getting, my favorite weapon on it is arrows. I love, like, in all the suits, when I get the gold suit, I'm like, I'm unstoppable, man. I can kill anything in that game. The zombies, they don't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. And I'll tell you, we got all the free, like, video games we could rent for a while. And then we all got free, like, when my dad started carrying them and stuff like that. And then we got all the free, like, movies we could have at home because my dad had the movie store. It was great. And then my dad, like, he, like, retired from that and went into carpentry and whatever. And then, like I say, it was fun. Like, popcorn for free. I mean, you can't shit on that. It's great. All that stuff. And in that spirit, like, I wanted our kids, and we totally wanted the kids to, like, experience this for themselves. And so we took them to our city place, like the only place in our city that is still like an old school, like, movie store still. And it's like a video store. And we took them, and, like, oh my God, they were gobsmacked. Now, not only did this place, and I put a picture on it, it was like hilarious because, like, I put a picture of this place on my Instagram, and it's got like a million, there's like a wall of like flavored popcorns, there's flavored coffees, there's movies, there's books, there's the pop culture stuff, there's action figures, there are t-shirts, and there are all kinds of things, cool shit that you can get, all kinds of cool shit. And the kids are just, they're gobsmacked by this because they're like, oh, there's cool kind of things everywhere I look, right? So they're cool. There's no more free popcorn anymore because, COVID and everything like that. But we got popcorn there. And the kinds we got cotton candy, and we got like butter or something. It's not real butter. It's like vegan butter. Who knows what the fuck it is, but it's amazing. Kids love it. I really want a dill pickle and cheese, but I can't do cheese. So there you go. It's probably not real cheese. Who knows? But now I did. This brought me back to kind of being a kid, because I did, as a kid, really love action figures big time as a kid. I loved action figures because they were kind of the ultimate toy for me. Because with me and having such a vivid imagination as I did when I was a kid, and I kind of do now, that action figures were kind of the ultimate toy because they could kind of be whatever the hell I wanted them to be, just with my head and just with my imagination and just whatever I could dream up. So they could really be doing anything in my imagination. If, like, my sister wanted to play Barbies, because I was like really, like, say, I was not a Barbie girl. My sister was playing Barbies. My action figures could be part of it. And it was like super, like, inclusive. I could do what I wanted with my action figures or whatever. So, the Ghostbusters or Masters of the Universe and the Ninja Turtles, they interrupted a lot of Barbie activities. Like, while she was in the dream house doing her thing. Sorry, Barbie, but they were barging in. They were doing their own shit. It's true. I played with what now, like, people wouldn't call boy toys. Like, but that, when I was a kid, people called it boy toys. They called me a tomboy. And I was just, like I say, I was not a Barbie girl growing up. And like I say, I was much like I am now. Like, and I will quote my son from a recent conversation that we had in the garage. And he was like, Mom. I'm like, yes. It's like, what's up? I have a question. I have an answer. Sure. Most moms carry a purse, right? I'm like, yeah. Most moms carry a purse. Some do. Some carry, like, wallets. Some people carry those little clutch things. Some moms carry the front pack. Some moms carry the fanny pack. Like, whatever. People carry things how they carry things. What's up? Well, you carry an axe in an army backpack. I had to do everything I could not to crack the hell up because it was so funny. And then the other thing, I was just like, don't say this to like anyone at school. Like, hopefully you're not like, my mom carries an axe in an army backpack. Things not to repeat at school. Mom carries an axe in an army backpack. They're going to think I'm crazy. I don't want that fucking business call coming up in here. I'll get a call from God knows who. Oh, Christ on a cracker. I'm out here trying to survive and chop firewood. Just let me be. It's hilarious. Anyway, so I think that's funny. But like I say, I want to say, like I've said it before, I'm kind of a dude's dude. And I said that to my son, and he thinks it's really funny. And in my head, I think to myself, child, you would not believe the things that I've been through, and you will never know, because by the time you're 18 years old, this podcast will be erased, and I will never tell you anything, and you'll never see my journals, unless I die or something, and he gets like to look inside all that stuff. My kids are not going to know about all this shit. That's not for kids to know. This coffee is strong. I need it to stay awake. Oh, God. Like I say, as I got older, my parents split when I was around, I think, 12. My parents got like separated and divorced and things like that. And that's hard, I think, for anyone, especially children, especially kids, because even at 12, even for me at least, I understood what was going on, but I didn't fully like grasp it completely. It was really hard to grasp. And it was rough with my dad for like a while. And I'm talking like years, because I didn't understand. And I lost years with my dad because I didn't understand. I couldn't put a grasp on it. And I don't know if it's my age or there's a lot of factors that kind of go on with that. And it really put a strain on our relationship for that period of time. And now that is, like, I will say that is a very difficult pill to swallow, because now he's not here anymore. However, Mr. Brightside, and there is one, at around, 16, 17, around then 15, 16, 17, just after kind of like, well, 15, no, it wouldn't be 15, it'd be more like 16, 17. Just after I kind of left Kitty, my dad and I sort of became like best friends at that point. Like missing him and having all of that like gray area for a few years was really tough on me. And I think it really had a big effect on me, because growing up, I was like, especially when I was little, like even ask anyone that knows me. Anyone that knows me will know this. Like I was a big time like daddy's girl. Everything was dad this, dad, 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 dad. I was a huge daddy girl growing up. And then, things got difficult for a little while. You get to an age where things get tough. My dad got remarried. Things happened. My dad, after that point, like after I got to a certain age, my dad was like my absolute like king for a long time. And I'm so grateful that I had him for the 39 years that I did have him for. But fuck, I miss him. Like I will say, I'm sorry. I miss him, and I don't think that that's going anywhere anytime soon. It's definitely not. I definitely didn't think that I'd be hitting 40 without my dad. That's one thing I didn't think of. Yeah, I don't think you think of hitting any of your like milestone anythings without your parents, because you don't consider their mortality. And I definitely thank every lucky star that I have that I still have my mom around, and she's present in my life, and we have a good like going on, and we have a good relationship, and we chat and we do stuff, and I'm able to make her things, and we do fun shit together. It's good to have my mom around. And it just, I think some of us are just not so fortunate. Sometimes you don't have both parents hanging about. It's not that I'm ungrateful for not just having one parent around. It sucks that my dad's not here to see what the shit's going on. I know he's watching what's going on, but sometimes life throws shit at you that you are not really ready for at all. And I guess these things are supposed to prepare you for something, I guess. So whatever that is, I don't fucking know. But also it reminds you of kind of your own mortality and thinking of things that, you know, that you have to think of when you get to, like I say, a certain age, especially 40. Fuck, you got, you know, blood tests and certain, you know, up the butt tests. They got to swab the starfish. You got to go to all, you got to have all kinds of tests. They want to see this. They want to see that. They want to go down this. They want to go up this. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, blood tests, physicals, you know, I've done the colonoscopy thing. I probably have to go for another one when I'm like 50. But I'll tell you, when you get a colonoscopy, they give you the best drugs. They give you the ketamine. I'll tell you, it's a special K. Holy shit. That's the drug that I found out that they gave me that made me feel so fucked. I've never had anything like it in my life. So when you go and you have your colonoscopy, now I think they put you like out. So you're really not aware that you're there. It's just the prep. It's the beginning part that's, you know, put on your nuclear war suit or your bee suit or whatever the fuck you're going to wear because it's going to be a fucking blast. You're fucked. Not fun. This week I did the journey to the center of the ear. I want to see what, I didn't clean my ear admittedly for like weeks because I'm like, what's up in this bitch? Because I got robbed. That ear cam, that like flashlight ear cam. Let me say the results were grossly disappointing. I don't even know if I should put up a picture of like what was in my ear or even like flash a picture because like literally there was nothing fucking in there. I don't know how my ears didn't get any wax. There was no buildup, no nothing. I unintentionally didn't clean my ears. That's disgusting. It's gross. There's nothing in there. But then having the ear cam in my ear made it feel like it had been invaded. And then I needed to like clean my ear more. And then I wanted to put a Q-tip in there like more. And I was like, oh, it just felt like there'd been like an earwig in there crawling around. And like, and then Rob goes, oh yeah. So like when it laid its eggs in there, I'm like, whoa, that's terrible. Laid its eggs in your ear. That's some shit out of Scary Stories you ever heard. Oh, some Alvin Schwartz type shit. I don't like that. I don't like that. So like I say, nothing to report with the journey of the center of the ear. I will report that all these trips down memory lane have been very musical. As I was like I say, raised around music as a kid. And I listened to so many things like, you know, I listened to a lot of Frank Zappa. I listened to Genesis a lot because I was listening to Phil Collins. And Phil Collins was in Genesis. So this reminds you of Genesis. And like I listened to Joe Satriani a lot of like plain guitar stuff, like just plain old, like no lyrics. Listen to the Beatles a ton, Heart, the Beach Boys. I got the Let Out a lot with Led Zeppelin. I listened to a lot of Deep Purple, Caius. Definitely, though, I was influenced by people like Ozzy Osbourne and Frank Zappa. And when it came to other records and things like Institutions and stuff, I was influenced by outside thinkers. Again, like people like Frank Zappa and George Carlin that really thought outside the box. When it came to things of like levels of government, religion, or freedom of speech, and like as long as it was done from a place of being respectful, that's what I think is cool about freedom of speech. You can say pretty much whatever you want. Yeah, you can. It's cool, but like you can do it without being a dick. That's also cool. Like freedom of speech is wonderful and everything, but like even like George Carlin has put it more eloquently than I have. You know what I mean? Like we've got freedom of speech. Why don't we use it for something like good? You know what I mean? That's what I think. And that's why I think I am who I am. And that's why I believe in community. And someone is funny because the other day somebody called me a commie. And because of a post I made, someone called me a commie. I'm like, okay, I didn't want a healthcare and I don't want healthcare to get privatized. I don't want to get too political, but I'm saying I don't want healthcare to get privatized because I think it's robbing people of their money. Privatized, like these are corporations that we already pay for that are going to like fill the pockets of people that already are rich, and we're going to put more money in their pocket when we already have provincial healthcare that pays for it. But if we want to skip the line, we can pay some money. What about the people that don't have money? That causes accessibility problems, and that's fucking really classist, huge. Like that shows that one class of people that have more money can get those things more than another class of people. And I don't think, even coming from my place of privilege where I sit, I don't think that that's fucking fair. So you know what? Call me a fucking commie. Come at me. I don't give a fuck. Because that shit is not fair. But think about the word commie for a second. What are the first 4 letters? C-O-M-M. And those are the first letters of community. I don't believe in fucking communism. I believe in community. I believe in a bunch of people doing certain things for the greater good of fucking everybody. That's community. That's not communism. Fucking newsflash. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's my belief system. So if you want to know what my political belief system is, I don't have a fucking side to pick. Everyone's fucking an asshole, honestly. Whoever you end up picking is going to inevitably fucking lie to your ass in anything. Whoever you end up picking, whatever side you end up sitting on, is going to inevitably lie to your ass and twist the truth to however you want to hear it in your own echo chamber. Because whatever side you sit on, or if you sit in the middle, most people don't swing towards the middle. I don't think in today's world there's too many middle swingers. You either swing kind of to the left or kind of to the right? And so I think no matter which way you swing, you're going to have just people just talking into the government, like the government echo chamber, like I say, like saying what you believe on one side and what you believe on the other side. And it's eventually going to get skewed and you're going to get the wrong information on both sides. And I think that sometimes when I talk about community, and I think when you come from a place of love, sometimes, like when you're coming from a huge place of love and community and having love for a community, you get really misunderstood by people when you're full of love, by people that are full of shit. Like people that are really full of complete horseshit are completely blown away by someone who's completely full of love and compassion, and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do when you throw like love bombs at them, or you don't know what to do. They don't know what to do when you throw appreciation at them or value at them or anything, because they're not quite sure what to do with it, if you're being genuine or not. Because maybe someone's not been so genuine to them. Who knows? Who knows why it is, but it's hard to believe that, community could be a thing and we could be doing cool things for the greater good of everybody. Not communism, community. So I'm down for C, community. C is for cookie and C is for community, and I'm all about that. Speaking of shit, a lot can get thrown at you in 40 years. I will say that like unequivocally. So much can happen in 40 years. Some, or most of you know by now that I'm on my second marriage, because my divorce became final today. I was married before. I got married because I thought it was kind of, the thing you're supposed to do. Truth is, bing bong, I stayed in an abusive relationship for like 16 years, and then I got married to it, which was stupid. But it's what you think you do. You think you stay with the person that you're with when you're young, or if you've been with them for a long time. You get married, and that's just, you get a house, that's what you're supposed to do, and you get a dog, and that's what you're supposed to do, and whatever. And then you do, and then it ends up being really bad. After, and like getting worse and 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 worse. And then, but they get a silver lining out of it. Seasonal. I'll tell you, but you do, it's snowing like crazy here. Seasonal snot, you get a silver lining out of it. Like you get a silver lining out of a lot of things, and you don't get a silver lining out of a lot of things. But I got one silver lining out of my first marriage, and it was a beautiful silver lining. Through some magical 30 seconds of friction, I ended up with the silver lining of my beautiful son, my beautiful boy. And I definitely had a very tough birth with my first birth with my son, because he was an emergency C-section. I got wheeled into that, I don't even know where my partner, my first husband at the time, was. So I got wheeled into the ER, the OR rather, because they said, we're just going to check you in the OR. I'm like, oh, you're doing a section. And they're like, no, not necessarily. I knew the nurse because we went to school together. And my husband at the time was not there. So I got wheeled into the OR to get split open to get a C-section before he could scrub up in there. Because my first birth was, like I say, very difficult. I didn't have a very supportive birthing partner. So it was a really stressful birth. I had a lot of flim flam and things coming in and out of my birthing suite at the hospital, and people that I didn't want in there necessarily in there. People that I kind of signed off on the no pass, there's a guest list. Well, there's also an anti-guest list. And I put people on the anti-guest list that I didn't want coming in the room. But they were there anyway. And like I say, my partner was not even there. He was fucking God knows where to be found. So I ended up having my son. He stumbled in at the last moment when I was split up with my guts all over the floor. Like, and they put a sheet up when they give you a C-section, so you can't see what's happening. All they can do is you can feel them cutting you open and splitting you wide open, but you only feel the pressure. You can't feel the pain. It only feels like dullness and pressure, not sharpness, nothing else. But it feels like stretching and pulling, but you're so drugged up. And it was nice to have someone that I knew there. My second birth experience, though, was like completely different because fast forward. I get separated. Surprise, in 2016. And I'd met Rob while filming the Kitty documentary. And I took a shine to him back. I'm going to blush. I took a shine to him then when we started filming the Kitty documentary because I just kind of like gave him a hug, and I had just had a baby not too long before that, and I was kind of full of pregnancy hormones and love. I was lactating like a crazy person, milk squirting in every direction. I had like pads in my bra, like 'cause my boobs were ginormous. I was also quite heavy then when I met Rob. I was like probably like 50 or 60 pounds heavier than I am now because I just had a baby. I was bloated. So that says a lot about Rob, right? So he says that he kind of liked me anyway. So we met and things like that, and he was respectful. And I was just like, it's cute. And I gave him a hug. Like, it was like a nice hug. I was like, oh, I like this hug. And yeah, so we'd kind of like met during the documentary, and I took a shine to him, and we'd established a friendship that was like really purely like platonic, like Harry Met Sally style, like over like doing the documentary and stuff like that. And like if he wanted anything, I'd send it to him or whatever, and we just became like Facebook friends. And he'd like pictures of like, you know, Harrison and stuff like that, and or like pictures of things that we had like in common, like Jim Henson stuff or the Muppet stuff, or like we have a lot of like strange, we like the same hockey team, like we have a lot of strange weird things in common. But like aside from that, we were just buds, like purely in a supportive kind of platonic friendship. And then one day, I think I commented something like really sassy on his Facebook. I might have said something like, "You're giving me like gingivitis" or something, because like he has red hair. And then he like went home, and this is like probably like December of 2016. So he like went home and then like sent me a message, and I was like, you know, we talked and stuff, and I was like, we should probably like get to know each other better. And then like we did. He was up in Canada for a little bit, and then like I say, on Cinco de Mayo, on the 5th of May, like 2017, that's when Scarlett was conceived. He made me a steak, and then he made me a mom. And it was great. It was wonderful. It was a totally, like I say, different birth experience than my first, because number one, Rob was conscious, and he was in the room, and he wasn't sitting on like the birthing couch sleeping or anything like that. He was like by my side. He was holding my hand. And then we also had a videographer in the room, and who is Scarlett's godmother, I always say her fairy godmother. And so Scarlett's godmom was there, and it was just very quiet. It was just Rob and myself and Scarlett's fairy godmother and the doctor, who was like a resident, and the nurse. And it was quiet. It was really like in the middle of the night. Every friggin' time I've been in labor, I fucking denied it. I'm like, I'm not in labor. I just don't feel good. I have a stomach ache. I need to go sit in the bath. My back hurts. I'm not in labor. This is why I'm not having any more fucking kids. Because seriously, I don't know when I'm in labor. I just think my back hurts. Then we go to the cottage. Then we go to this hospital, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna have a baby." I'm like, fuck. Well, like I say, Rob moved down here from Vegas. We kind of like gambled, and I guess the house won, because we had a beautiful baby girl, and she was born on Groundhog Day. But I feel like, you know, I peaked a little bit late, so to speak, like a late bloomer, like a slow learner, a little bit, so to speak. I can't like kind of explain it really. I get comments about peaking like with Kitty and stuff like that. And to me, like to me personally, that was a flash in the pan. That was lightning in a bottle, and that was that chapter in my life. But there's so much more, because at that time when I did stuff with Kitty, I was so young, the baby. And even bands after Kitty, Candy Darlings, the Alcoholics were most like my notable bands that I was in after like Kitty. Those are the bands that people know. Those are the bands that are like on the internet, or there's like a CD floating around somewhere. I did play in a Southern rock basement band called Carmen and the Devil. And then Carmen and the Devil was like, it was like literally a Southern rock band inspired by the name of a song by The Band, like with Robbie Robertson. The song The Wait. Then I saw Carmen and the Devil walking side by side. So I was Carmen and everybody else was the devil. So I sang and played bass, but it was just a band that was just like a basement fucking jam band. They drank a lot. We smoked a kind of lot of pot. Like it didn't go anywhere. It went nowhere, except it was a basement jam band. And I know we like jammed in my friend's parents' house, and his parents had pictures on the wall of the Beatles. They had like John, Paul, George, and Ringo. But to piss his parents off, we changed the order of the pictures. So it'd be like Ringo, George, John, and then Paul. And then his mom would come home after we'd leave, and she'd go fucking ballistic because her Beatles posters were out of order. Or her Beatles, she loved the Beatles, and I loved the Beatles too, but I knew how to put it out of order, right? I knew how they were supposed to go. So we'd mess with her Beatles shit and piss her off. So that band, like I say, went absolutely fucking nowhere. But I sang and played bass like Leon Wilkinson. It was fun. It was really fun. We played Skynyrd songs and just kind of fucked around and played Southern rock stuff. And we were, like I say, we were a basement jam band. And speaking of teenage years, I promised I'd tell you about the fraternity, like sorority years. Did I ever join a fraternity or a sorority? That's your question. I got that question. No. No. This is why I say teen years, because I was a little bit of a rebel when I was younger, as you can probably imagine. One night after a show, I think, that we played, a friend and I, who I was like chumming around with at the time, met these guys, and they're like, we're going to a party. This is the address. So instead of going home after the show, and we played like, I think like first. So the party was actually pretty early. It was like 10 o'clock or something. So we're young when we play this show. Probably 17, probably 17, yeah. But these guys are like in a fraternity, and they give us this address. So they're like in their 20s, early 20s, 21, maybe. So we get the address, and we get her mom to drop us off like a block away from this house. Get the address, and we go up to it, and it's a fucking fraternity. It's a fraternity that I showed on my Instagram. And I will tell you, this place was fucking crazy. Number one, we get in here and the party was just like bopping. There was like a guy at the door. He wasn't like taking entrance fee, but he was just like, hey, come on in. Or just, oh, geez, if you're a girl, come on in. So this is this frat house, but I'll tell you, we get there and it's like the fucking Winchester mansion. It's got tunnels and shit all over the fucking place. Finally, we take this like one tunnel and we're like up this place into like a widow's walk on a roof. We're up on this fucking roof, and I don't like heights to begin with. Like, I really don't like them. We're up on this fucking widow's walk, and we're up there just smoking weed, having beers, just being like Jay and Silent Bob, just hanging out with these dudes. Because we went to this party because one of the dudes looked like Tom DeLonge or something from Blink-182. We thought he was cute, so we're like, yeah, we'll go. And then so finally we're at this party for a while, and I say like we're 16 or 17. And they're like, oh, let's go back downtown and party some more. And so we're just like, oh, like we like knowing we're underage. Like, oh, we forgot our IDs. We got to go home and get them. So we like somehow went to like a payphone because we didn't have any fucking cell phones then. We called this girl's mom, and she came and she picked us up like again around the block from where we're here, at a coffee shop or something. Picked us up around the block, and we just like went home. We didn't go back to the bar because we didn't have IDs because we were under fucking age, and we had met them at a bar that we were playing at because we were playing there. We could play there but we couldn't like go party there because we were underage. So like I say, her mom picked us up a block away. We shook our heads. We hung our heads in shame. Bad girls, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad girls, bad girls. Like, on the topic of bad girls, did I ever tell you about the girl who wanted to devour me? Oh my God, 40 years of this bullshit and I never told you this story? Holy fuck. I was telling Rob a story about swingers. This is terrible. So, a long time ago, there was a couple that I knew from playing around the band circuit. And they were, like, she kind of did some, like, softcore porn stuff, and he kind of did the same sort of thing. And I never really thought anything of it. And one night they invited myself and someone that I was with at the time over for supper. And they told me that they really weren't a fan of the person that I was with at the time. True, neither was I. Anyways, but the girl told me that she wanted to devour me, and I just thought it was, like, funny. I don't know, man. Like, so they said they wanted to, like, do something with a swing. And I was like, cool. This is the way I heard it, at least. And I thought they had like a tire swing or like a rope swing, like behind their house, like into a quarry, like where you could swim or something cool. Cause they lived like out in the country. So I'm like, wicked, right? I didn't realize they wanted to swing. Like, they were swingers. And when she said she wanted to devour me, she actually wanted to devour me physically, because I hadn't realized that her husband was like, he swung however he swung, and he wasn't interested in the person that I was with at the time, but she was interested in me and wanted to swing with me and do the sister switch. I don't know. I was astounded. It did not, I'll say it didn't happen. I went home, but like, it was something, especially when I thought I was like going to go on a swing too. Like, how old am I? Coffee, more coffee. Coffee is a double-edged sword for me, basically. It's either going to hit one of two ways. Slow and steady, or it's going to be like a hit like a fucking crack pipe. There's no in-between with coffee for me. Just, it's going to hit those two ways. And because of being what I call, a late bloomer, meaning I've learned things and really come into myself with like age and like becoming 40 and things like that later than some have. But late in life, I still kind of know, like now I know like what's going on. And so here I am. It is what it is. I'm still here. ADHD and fucking neurodivergent as fuck. Neurodivergent is when with sound. And I always thought that sound just bothered me, but I found out this is like a real thing. And I apparently am like this. I have this tendency. Neurotypical people are people that like sound doesn't like bother and stuff like that, but neurodivergence can be lots of things. For me, it is when I hear noise, certain levels of noise in my ears, like a car driving by the house or a plane driving over, like flying over really high. It freaks me out and triggers a flight or fight response. So Rob got me these earplugs called loops that filter out just that mid-level noise that will bother me enough to like make me feel like panicky and shitty. It's not fun. I don't love it. So being neurotypical is when that stuff doesn't bother you. And being neurodivergent, maybe you are too, is when that shit bothers you. Now, when I say a lot of shit can happen in 40 years, I'm serious. I'm saying it with a smile on my face because it's crazy. But after like 40 years, I almost died like many times. I almost died in a fucking car accident. I got run over by a transport truck. That should have finished me off and fucking killed me. I should have been done. I've had so many near-death experiences. I have been HIV free from an HIV poke I had in a dental office. A dentist fucking hit me with a needle that had HIV all over it like 13 years ago. I had to get tested for HIV for 10 years because that's the length that you get tested for it. But I've like after 10 years, you'll never get it. But I took an antiviral drug for it at the time. So I came near death with that. I cracked the fucking shit of my head like open at the cottage. No hospitals around for miles. So my dad like literally stitched my fucking head up on the couch as a kid. Made sure I didn't have a concussion. Stayed up with me. Make sure I didn't vomit, go unconscious. All the things you do for head injuries. I was playing some stupid game and I slipped and tripped and smacked my head. Like a dumbass. But my dad fixed me up. He knew how to do it. I've experienced anesthesia awareness in the operating room. You know, when you're actually like aware during your surgery and you can hear things and maybe see things too. Because I started doing paintings as a smaller person. I did some drawings in school. My teacher was like, "What's that?" And I was like, telling you about surgeons that were doing my surgery when I had a big lumpectomy, like I had a lump removed from my neck. It turned out not to be cancer or anything, but I had a huge, giant, like, lump in my neck. It ended up being just like a cyst, a sebaceous cyst coming from the oil glands. I had one removed in my face too. Like I had it done while I was awake though. Weird. I guess I've always been the kind of one to kind of like break out from the crowd and be kind of different. I love to break away from the everyday kind of thing and start something new and do it kind of my own way. Like I say, like a grooming company, for instance. Like I like doing things my way. And what better time is it than a segment for Beards N Bitchin? Like I'll say, it's time for Beards N Bitchin. And it's bitchin' thanks to a glowing review and a number of glowing reviews. One from Seth at Bearded RDU. That's his YouTube channel. You got Bearded RDU. One really amazing review from Seth there. And another one from Dagan at BGG Grooming. And the reviews were so glowing, in fact, they glowed so bright that Golden God is coming back into rotation. That's coming back into the shop at Rockaholic because apparently it's number one slug or scent. People really like it. So it's coming. I've taken your feedback and I'm so grateful, like I say, for positive messages and feedback and questions and constructive criticism and things like that. And that's right. I said I like constructive criticism. Because truly, it's all in the way that you put it. I think it's cool to have constructive criticism. I think it's great that people have suggestions for you because that helps you learn when they do it in such a productive way and you don't feel abused, you don't feel attacked, you don't feel, it's passive, you know? It's, here's what I like and here's what I think you could do better to make it more accessible, or you could make it more user-friendly, or you could make it more fun, or whatever you can make it. However, this is a way that I think that it would improve it for me. This would improve my experience. I like to know that stuff because I think that makes you grow however you can as a person. And as a business, it helps you grow too. It helps you grow your product. It helps you know your customer base. It helps you know even your band, your fan base. Feedback is super important. Like I say, when it's put in a kind, gentle way, you heard me. It's a good thing. Expressed in the right way. And now, like I say, because of all your kind feedback and wonderful things, my mom is not only watching my 21st Century Rocker Mom YouTube podcast and listening to my fucking Sailor Mouth every goddamn week or every 2 weeks. Well, it's every 2 weeks now. The only reason I got this going on right now because it's my birthday week. And like I say, I want to pump it out there and we got the contest going on. There's been over like 400 entries. So I have a lot of you fuckers to put on a wheel. Woo! I love you guys. Like seriously, I have so many of you freaking super fans to put on a super crazy, super fly, super wheel, spin the shit out of it and see who wins. It's going to take a long time to spin. I've never done this before. So we're going to put you, I'm not going to make you draw a number because like drawing a number from 1 to 400 is ridiculous and anything like that. So I've got all your entries. I've got them in. I just got to load them into the wheel and film it and find the winner. And then that entails, like I say, my mom is now watching YouTube beard videos and watching reviews of the company. And then she'll call me and be like, Tanya, I'm so proud of you. And your dad would be so proud of you. And it honestly, I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to look like a total marshmallow here. And I don't give a shit. Because you know what? I show who I truly am pretty much all the fucking time. And I shoot from the hip pretty much all the fucking time. I'm a giant marshmallow. So when my mom tells me that she's proud of me, or somebody tells me that my product or something that I've formulated and I've taken great care to formulate does a really good job in their beard or makes their hair feel great when they blow dry and takes care of their split ends and they love that grooming oil, they love that beard oil, or they love that product, and I send them a mustache wax and they like it, or they can't smell but they love the oil, whatever it is, I'm happy to do that. I like that. I think it's a good thing. It makes me really happy. Like I say, the giveaway is going to be big. It has over the 400 entries, and I'll explain. Like I say, this week is the draw. This coming week is the draw, and I will explain. I'm going to do it right after my birthday because my birthday, obviously, I'm going to just be eating cake. But with the draw, I'm going to explain to you now what kind of like the prize is so it's clear. So, Canadian and American residents, what you'll get with this prize is basically, it's Beard of the Year Club. So it's like kind of, or Hair of the Year Club, whatever it will be tailored to you, basically. Whomever you are, whomever wins. So a lot of you have you've entered, and everyone like across the board has entered. And so it's going to be tailored to you personally. So it's going to be like a grooming sort of thing of the month club. So every month you'll get a little thing from me. So it could be something that I'm dinking around on, something that I'm working on, something that I only bring to markets. Like I'm low-key doing soap. Shh, don't tell anybody. Is it going to go to the company? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Soap is kind of like a hobby that I do to keep myself calm when I'm not like doing oils, and I'm not like working, and I'm not doing the podcast or doing fam stuff. Like soap stuff is stuff you can do with your kids, and it's fun. So it's more of like a calming hobby. So if I don't know if that'll make it onto the company, but it does. I love doing soap. But I'm saying doing things like that provides me with the time to bring you things like, for instance, our beard butters are also like we have like a body cream with them because we formulate them in the same way you'll be able to use it on your body. Like my mom uses our beard butter. She was one of our prototypes because, like I say, I put it through many tests on different skins, on different skin types, older skin, younger skin, on the kids, on Rob. Like everyone in the house is getting bothered, and all my friends are getting bothered with butters and waxes and stuff like that. How do you like it? How does it feel on your skin? How is this, how's that? Everyone's getting bothered because I want to know how it is. Everything's going through a series of tests. Everything's gone through a series of tests. So like I say, the butter is more of like a butter cream, I would say. The way it absorbs, it absorbs the same way as the oil, to be perfectly, like to be really honest, to be truthful. Absorbs like the oil. It gives you a little bit of hold wherever you want to put it. And it's lovely. I have some in my hair right now. I made a crazy one with cherries and stuff, and it's fun. But like I say, the giveaway's got tons of entries, so you're going to see what your contest winnings are for like the year. So every month, like I say, you'll get something from me. When I do a special release, you'll get it first. When I'm sold out of something, unless I'm truly sold out and I'm completely done back order, like with what happened with Golden God, everything got thrown on back order. And then finally, I was able to get the oils back in. And I was just like, should I get them back in? I don't know. They're really expensive. It's hard. It's a tough one to make because it's really complex. However, people really like the scent of it. It's a really cologne-y scent. It's fun. And then obviously Ultimate Sin's coming out. How sinful are you going to be for Valentine's Day? It's going to be great. Like, you're going to love the things. Like the butter and the waxes, like I say, they're done. But the hold-up, as always, and everybody wants to know, what the fuck is the hold-up? Where the fuck are the butters and the waxes? Like, you're doing them on reels. You're putting them on, the site. Where are they? I'm waiting on the fucking labels. And it's not the fault of the label company. And it's not the fault of us. It's just the way things go. It's me being super anal, and also Rob, because Rob helps out with the company too. Like Rob answers most of the emails. I don't do that. I'll do a lot of the back and forth on like the Instagram or whatever, that's me. But Rob is back and forth on the emails. He handles a lot of things on the Rockaholics like site. If something goes wrong with shipping or something, like that's Rob that handles that shit, not me, because I'm doing other things with the company. So it's kind of like we really split things 50-50. And people, like I make all the oils and things like that. Like Rob doesn't do that stuff. I've written down a book in case I fall over or something like that. But Rob will be like, I think you should add this to a scent because this smells terrible. Like, for instance, I added something that was way too strong to a scent. And I literally thought that we used Drano down the sink. I was like, Rob, did you use Drano? It smells like fucking shit down here. He's like, no, that's the beard oil you made. I'm like, fuck that. So I like shelved it. I'm like, see ya, it smells like shit. So like I say, like our products, our labels and our containers also go through a round of tests. Like, how is this going to go through the mail? How is this sticker going to look when I put on it? How am I going to be able to seal this up safely? How am I going to be able to put a top on the top of that beard oil to make sure that, that hasn't been messed with and, it's got a nice seal on it to make sure it's safe for you? How am I going to make sure everything looks nice, So it's waiting on the printers making sure everything's perfect and then sending it out to you and putting it up on the site. So those will be coming, like I say, around Valentine's Day. I don't like giving anyone like a specific date, but they're all, like I say, they're done. We're just waiting on labels. And so they're ready to just go. They're just blank. So I don't want to send them out blank. I don't want to do that to you. That's not nice. So good luck to everyone, like I say, who entered the giveaway, who entered the contest. There's a lot of entries. And it's a pretty sick prize. Like I say, it's pretty fun. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited to spin to win and see who wins. I'm going to try to make it like in a 60-second video. I don't know if the wheel will go around with that many people in 60 seconds. I don't know what to do. So I'll figure it out. I'll put it into a computer and the computer will figure it out. I will be doing a few live streams in the next couple of months as well. I've hopped back on that train. Woo woo! And I will be live a little bit more often. Like I'm saying, like live on Instagram and live on TikTok. I'm back on TikTok. Question Q from you. What is a gift I want for my birthday, or I want it for my birthday? Practically, like a practical gift. Anything from the business side and like making soap and making oils and making butters and making balms and making pomades and making waxes and making this and that and the other thing. Other than that, maybe, I don't know, a couple of cigars, a new cutter, and some bubble bath. You know, I'm pretty easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. It's true. And it only took 40 years to get here. And so now I have menopause to look forward to. That's coming. Ha! Hot flashes. And if I get a beard, I'm telling you this right now, I'm keeping it. Because I want to see what this oil does for it. Because, you know, 40, it's all Ambien and weird tests from here on. Things up your butt, things up your nose, things down your throat, things to your ear, whatever. Things I do and don't remember on Ambien. Holy fuck, this could be a whole TV show. Terrible. Apparently, I had a whole full-on conversation about Winnie the Pooh and the 100-Acre Wood and those original friends that all hung out there. No recollection of this conversation, like, whatsoever. Waking up in my sleep and talking about Winnie the Pooh and all kinds of weird shit. Once, like I say, I'll tell you, once you punch through that wall of, like, you take your Ambien and then you fall asleep. Once you punch through that wall of being tired, you find a wall of probably, like, technicolorness. There are people that I know that, like, aren't allowed to do things after they take Ambien because it can make you do things that you forget. Like, they're not allowed to watch TV, or they're not allowed to talk on the phone to their friends because they'll say something funny, or they'll say something weird, or they're not allowed to go shop. For me, I'm not allowed to, like, I shouldn't go on Amazon or anything because I'll be like, what did I buy? Because I won't remember. It's true. Like, Chelsea Handler did a podcast in a true, like, a physical episode where she took an Ambien. You could see what happened. And she had someone supervising her, obviously, because it's dangerous to do that. You could fall asleep in the middle of the podcast. Who knows? Because it is, like I say, it's a sedative hypnotic. But once you punch through that wall, there's no going back. And you're just fucking silly. Like, you're just silly as fuck, and you can't come back from that. Now, in all seriousness, like I say, not silliness, what has 40 taught me? Somebody asked me this too. What has 40 taught me? Protect your neck. Not just what Wu-Tang has taught me, but 40 has taught me protect your neck. Keep your peace, man. Keep your family's peace. Keep your own peace. Don't worry about what other people are saying about you, or what they're commenting about you, or what they're not saying about you. Don't wish they're saying something that they're not. Don't worry about that stuff. Stay in your lane. But if someone puts their name in, like, the mouth, like someone, like, speaks about you and speaks on your behalf, and someone puts your name inside their mouth, you know what I say? Don't just sit there. Do something. Like on the Hour of Power. Clap back. Don't just sit there and fucking sit on your ass and do nothing. You can still keep your peace and defend yourself and defend your peace and defend your family's peace. You can still do that stuff. I see people doing things like putting each other's addresses out on the internet, doing fucked up weird shit. Like, just weird passive aggressive stuff that I don't understand. There is a way to keep your peace and defend yourself while staying in your own lane and being able to kind of to do that. But I'm saying, if somebody's got your name in their mouth, fucking clap back every time. Clap back. Keep your name the way you want to keep your name. You do what you got to do to keep your peace. That's what I'm going to say. And like I say, I've learned that not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Lots of things. Like I say, the people who, like, confuse you being full of love are confused because they're the people that are the ones that are most full of bullshit. There's the ones that are, you know, constantly got an ulterior motive. And you can see it from a mile away. You know what I mean? You got to watch out for those people because you can see. Like, if you don't have anything in common except they're kind of like benefiting from whatever you've got going on, then get rid of that. Cut it off. That's not what I just learned at like 40. Like, I just learned that generally. It's just, don't sit there. Don't take that shit. I can say, I'm going to go be the girl with the most cake. I'm going to go devour myself in cake very soon, or pie, or whatever kind of confectionery birthday treat that I figure out. I don't know. I think my mom wanted to make me cupcakes, which is so funny and so cute. But, like I say, I'll be back. You'll see me soon. You know where I'm at if you want to get me. Every, like, 2 weeks now. It'll be 2 weeks because, like I say, it'll be 2 weeks. Sometimes maybe it'll be 3 because no one's going to tell me when I can take a day off and I can't take a day off. Depends what's going on at the fucking company. Sometimes I have time. Sometimes I don't have time. I'll be doing fucking shit and shorts and stuff in between. Like I say, there's musical stuff in between. But I'm doing stuff with my family. There's fun things going on. You know where to find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm a 21st century rocker mom on Instagram. You can find me at Rockaholic Grooming Co., like the Rockaholic Grooming Company too. If you go on my link tree in my bio on Instagram, you can find me wherever I am. I'm back on TikTok, kind of in a different capacity, but still in the same capacity rather. And I'm there. You can go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to Tanya Candler channel on YouTube. Click subscribe, then to get notified every time I'm doing something crazy. It's coming down the pipe. You'll be able to see that. And you'll be able to hang out with me and get privy to little fun little shorts and weird things that I do throughout the week when I'm just dinking around. It's fun. Playing with shorts on YouTube is always fun. So like I say, click the link in my link tree and like I say, find out where I am at. Come find me. Like I say, I'm back on TikTok. I'll be there for the good, not the bad. And like I say, come find me. Come hang out. Let's dance. Till I see you the next time, I will say happy birthday to me, obviously. And obviously, be good. Be good to each other. And I will see you next time. Be good. Over and out.